A while back, someone close to me said something that stuck with me for days. They said, "You're 34 now, and by this age, people are settled, they have family, and they have a plan." I remember nodding, smiling, and going to my room and sitting with that thought for very long because some part of me believed them, not because they were wrong about what society expects, but I couldn't tell the difference what they wanted and what I wanted. And that confusion, that's what this video is all about. I won't say I handle it well. For days, I genuinely felt behind, like everyone around me had figured out a game I hadn't even started playing properly. I started comparing, which is dangerous because once you start, it's not easy to stop. A cousin who got married at 28, a friend who bought house at 30, a colleague who has two kids, a stable job, everything seems sorted. And here's me, 34, back to hometown, starting over. On paper, I looked lost. And the worst part, I started agree that version of my story. But something shifted. Not dramatically or overnight, I just started watching. I started paying attention around me and I noticed something that I couldn't unsee once I saw it. Most of the people, not all, but the most, are living on a schedule. A schedule that nobody ever sat down and consciously wrote for them. And there's probably a reason for that. Researchers who study human behaviors noted for decades our deepest need as human is to belong. And that need is so powerful that most of us observe our identity before we are old enough to question it. We do not choose our earliest belief. We inherit them from family, school, community, and society. And somewhere in that inheritance, someone handed us a timeline. When to study, when to work, when to marry, when to settle. We didn't question it, we followed it. I did exactly the same. For years, I was moving forward, ticking the boxes, staying in schedule, but I never once stopped to ask, whose schedule is this? I'm not saying people were wrong for following it. No, maybe it works for them. Maybe they genuinely chose it. But I couldn't say the same for me. And that's when I started thinking about the two different kinds of journeys. A outdoor journey, job, house, marriage, kids. These are experience. They are real, they matters. But inward journey, who you are becoming, what actually you value, what kind of life feels true to you, that has its own timeline. It doesn't follow a calendar. Some people get that clarity at 22, some at 42, some are still looking. For years, I was being good at outwards thing. I had a career, a life that looked functional from outside. But I hadn't asked myself a single honest question. What I wanted. Until I was forced to stop. And जब रुका तो दिखा. I'm not saying society timeline is wrong and you should reject a life you are building. No, that's not for me to say. But I have been asking myself a question lately, and I think it's worth sitting with. What if there was no manual? If there was no expected timeline? No one watching you? No comparison? No pressure in either direction? What would your life actually looks like? Not the fantasy one, but the honest one. I don't have a clear answer yet. I'm still figuring it out. But I have stopped measuring my life against a schedule I never consciously chose. And that small shift, just asking the question, has changed something in me that I cannot quite put into words yet. And maybe it will do the same for you. Maybe it won't. But the question is worth asking.